In today's video, I am sharing with you some DIY farmhouse Christmas projects that you are going to love. These turned out so beautiful and I cannot wait to share. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Katelyn and I love all things DIYing and crafting. I am super excited for today's video. I have 5 beautiful Christmas farmhouse DIYs that you are going to love. I was super excited to share these with you guys. They are more of like a neutral farmhouse, but you definitely can switch up this style to match your own. Make sure you give me a big thumbs up. It really helps me out here on YouTube. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started crafting. First up, I'm using some of these wooden drawers from Crafter's Square at Dollar Tree. I'm showing 3 here, but I only ended up using 2 of them because I pulled the middle insert out. So I had 2, which was perfect to stack on top of each other, the larger ones, and then the smaller ones are perfect to just be individual presents. They do have the little cutout holes, so if you want to avoid those, you can just buy 2 other new blocks and just use the outer part. But I thought since I was covering this in ribbon, everything would be nice and hidden. So now I'm gluing the 2 larger blocks together like I mentioned, and I wiped away all of the hot glue that was kind of coming out of the edges, and then just to make sure that I make this look more like one solid piece, I do add in some wood filler and sand that down. I want to paint these presents white for the final piece, but I do want these to look really distressed, and even if I sanded down the white paint, this is just a really pale wood, so I needed to give it some backing color to show through the white to look really rustic. So I chose this elephant color, which is a dark gray, and just very quickly give it a nice base coat so that will be underneath, and then take my white chalk paint, and then it's not really dry brushing because I am applying a lot, but I'm trying to leave areas where you can see the gray and just let that dark color show through. I think it is perfect to give it that really weathered look. If you want to stick with Dollar Tree supplies, Dollar Tree had out a black and white buffalo print ribbon for fall, but if you can't find that, Hobby Lobby has tons of options. I love the smaller little ribbon, but if you do choose to use the Dollar Tree ribbon and you feel that it's too wide, you can fold it or glue it in half or cut it down to size. But I loved this little print from Hobby Lobby, and then I always get everything half off or wait for a 40% off sale. And then I hot glued the ribbon down in each direction so it did look like it was wrapped in ribbon like a real gift. One of my favorite crafting supplies from Dollar General are these tiny little pine cones. I think these actually are left over from last year, but they have tons of items that you can find these mini little pine cones on. And I am going to be using some of Dollar Tree's little greenery pieces, but I also am going to mix that in with some of these Hobby Lobby greenery. I just think mixing in the different kinds of greenery makes it look higher end, and I really like it. So I just twist it up and glue that down, and then also just twist up a tiny bit of this Hobby Lobby version and glue that down on top. So it's just kind of like mixing in the greens. I just really like how that looks. I go ahead and glue a pine cone on top, and then Dollar Tree offers this red little garland. I made some little twists around my finger and hot glued those down in place. Because there is a lot of green going on, if you do take a little bit of white paint and make it look flocked, like a little snow, I feel like it just makes all of the details pop off of there. I always start off really light and then add more to get more of a snowy look. But these are how cute they turned out. I think these look really high end and adorable, perfect for farmhouse rustic Christmas. Next up, I'm going to be giving these 3 little Dollar Tree snow globes a makeover. These are wooden. I picked up several of them whenever I first found them at Dollar Tree. I knew these were going to be a hard to find item, but I'm actually finding more and more of them in all of the stores, so I'm hoping everyone can find these. I am just using what I had on hand, so I had a couple extra barns and then an extra snowman. I peel off all of the excess paper and sand them down so they're nice and smooth. Give them a couple of coats of white paint and then barely distress over them with some of this steel colored paint. I want to keep the theme going with this black and white gingham or buffalo checked ribbon. So I thought it would be really cute to wrap the bottoms. I didn't really know what else to do with the bottoms anyways, so I just stacked up and layered a couple of these pieces of this ribbon and tucked it around the edges. I tried to pull it really tight so that it is taking the shape of the snow globe, and then hot glue that down in the back. Then I'm adding in some of these Dollar Tree letters. I wanted to spell the word joy. I thought it would be adorable to put the black letters on there. It really coordinates with the ribbon. And then for the center snow globe to add in a wreath. I'm taking the very thin little greenery piece because the little branches on there aren't so long, and I wrapped it around a paint jar, but this was too wide. I wanted it a little bit smaller, so I cut it down and wrapped it all up so that it made the perfect O for the joy sign. And then it was really plain, so I decided to go back in with some more of the red Dollar Tree berries and wrap that around as well. For the tiniest bit of extra rustic detail, I wrapped a few strings of jute twine around the bottom and then made some new tiny little bows so they would be all cute and dainty. I glued everything down, and then I love adding in the extra details, so using a Sharpie, I'm just adding some little black squiggly lines and dots around the edges to make it have more of a finished look. I think this really brought it together and made them all coordinate, but really beautiful and a fun way to reuse some of these snow globes. Next up, I'm going to be using a couple of these small little square signs with the bead hangers from Dollar Tree. I was super excited to find these, and I know a lot of people have them, so I thought it would be really fun to make a project for Christmas. I love, love, love how the backs come off so easy, so I go ahead and pull them out, and then using a piece of the black and white buffalo check. I didn't realize I was using this in every project, but I guess I really am. But I go ahead and trace that around and fold it in half so it does cut out twice. I added some Mod Podge on the sign so that the paper would stick, but I didn't go over it because I didn't want a weird texture, and sometimes I know Mod Podge gives it a little bit of a different finish. And then I can replace these back down inside of the frame and push the little clips over, and I'm going to be adding in some of Dollar Tree's beautiful little natural wood wooden ornaments. I started with the snowflakes. These fit perfect and were beautiful in there, but then I thought it would be different to make a couple of different versions of this, especially if I wanted to hang them side by side. So I also made one with a little truck, and then to add in some little decorations, I added a couple of pieces of greenery, another pine cone, and some little berries. If you didn't want to make these, Dollar Tree sells a ton of ornaments, and they already have this little greenery made at the top, so you can recycle or repurpose from those. I did fill in the little hole of the ornament with some wood filler and then dry brushed over that with white. It was hard to stop adding detail, but I think they look really great. I love how the little ornament coordinates so nice with the wooden beads at the top, but just a beautiful, beautiful fun piece to hang from a set of hooks or some type of shelf. I picked up this mini little sign from Dollar General. It was $1 with this cute little truck, and I loved how it stood on a stand with some greenery in the front. It had the white kind of shiplap weathered wood in the backing, and I was just so inspired by it. I thought it would be really fun to use this gift bag that I found at Dollar Tree and make a larger version of that sign. So you get 2 of these trucks on the bag, so you can save one for later, but I go ahead and cut one out, and then I decided to peel off a canvas so that I could have this for the frame. I thought this would be perfect to make it a standing sign. Just add a sign to the bottom of this. And for the little stand, I am using one of the little wood planks from Dollar Tree. This worked perfect for this. It was the right width. I just was able to hot glue it down later in the center. Do start by painting both of these to match. So I use the truffle brown chalk paint. While I am letting that dry, I went ahead and got started on the backing of the sign. So I'm using some giant popsicle sticks. I love to pick these up at Walmart, and I paint them white. I tried to dry brush them so they weren't completely solid white. They looked a little rustic, and then cut off the round pieces and cut it down to size so that I can glue these along the back of this sign to make a backing, so I'll have something to attach my decor to. This is what it looks like all put together, and it was time to add in my little truck. So I just cut it out the best I could. I know it's hard because it has snow under its tires, and I just had to do the best I could. I did go ahead and cut around the trees, but I am going to be adding some 3D pieces over the trees, so I didn't worry about getting it perfect. I'm still on the same pack that I was using from Hobby Lobby, so these are perfect to keep on hand. I think they are such good quality and nice looking, and these were like skinny enough that I clipped them down and they look like actual tiny little trees in the back of the truck. It made it look more realistic. I knew I needed to cover over the top of those trees because you could tell it definitely was just paper kind of chopped and cut, but I think this really makes it look higher end, especially adding the snow on top of there. It just really camouflages everything in and makes it look like that truck really does have those trees in the back. And then I Mod Podge everything down, get it nice and smooth, and then take my Mod Podge and kind of go over the edges so everything is tucked down nice and tight. I glued on a believe word from the Dollar Tree Metal Words, and then went ahead and glued this on the stand. Next up is just adding in some greenery and berries like you saw in the inspiration piece at the beginning, that little miniature truck sign. It was really fun to try to recreate that into a larger piece, and this is definitely something that will be so beautiful setting on a table, like an entryway table or a counter, but it's just a really fun piece that I thought made that pop of color but still really goes with the rustic cozy cabin Christmas. Next up is a really fun floral arrangement. I picked up a couple of these crates, once again from Dollar Tree. These are the solid ones. You could use these or the ones that have the opening slats. I am doing the same thing I did with the first DIY. I'm going to just very quickly paint these with some of the elephant color dark so that when I do paint over them with white, it is poking through. I glued these on top of each other, kind of the same method as with the first gift, and just wiped away the hot glue that kind of came out of the edges. After my paint had dried, I went ahead and made a bow. I'm using also this medium size ribbon from Hobby Lobby, and I love to break bows down to make them perfect every single time. I start by making a loop at the top and then cut off an extra piece for the tails and then double knot them with a piece of jute string in the back, and I feel like I just get a perfect bow every time. I do fluff it up, but it looks really cute, and I'm able to put it on the front of this. I'm also going to be using some rustic jingle bells. If you choose, you can use the Dollar Tree shiny silver jingle bells, or you can paint them rustic to kind of go with it more, but I had these on hand, so this is what I'm going to be using. Also very inexpensive, and I get, once again, all my stuff on sale at Hobby Lobby, but I do tie them in a knot and just let them dangle down from the bow to add a little bit extra of that rustic detail.
What we do is what we do. I can take you anywhere.
For the floral that I chose to go inside, I picked this up at Walmart. It was a few dollars for these, so they are a little bit pricier, but you can definitely choose to use Dollar Tree, or Walmart also sells 98-cent picks. And then I felt like it was just kind of all the same color, the light green with the frosted, so I did add in some more of these little 98-cent picks from Walmart, and they have more of like a rustic look, and I love the warmth of those little pine cones put inside of there. So this is how it came together. I think this is perfect for neutral farmhouse Christmas. Beautiful, but you definitely can add in some color or any type of floral that you like.
Thank you all so much for coming along and crafting with me today. This video was so much fun to make. It was definitely my style with all of the farmhouse Christmas, but like I said, you definitely can take these ideas and switch them up to match your own, but these were really fun to put together. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you leave me a big thumbs up and make sure you are subscribed, and I'll see you next time. Happy crafting. Bye.